Welcome to the backyard farm. Hey, what's happening, guys? This is Tate and
Kyle Brogy
with Backyard Farming Supply. We're just chilling in the pepper paradise of dreams. Really excited about this year, right, bro?
Heck yeah, man. Looks beautiful.
Off. So what do you think about how the garden came together this year, bro?
I think it's really good. Again, it was all just simple little improvements on last year. You know, tiny little things here and there, and then just reduplicating what we're already doing, and this place is looking absolutely banging, man. Absolutely banging.
I think the deep bumper beds, no matter the crop, it just does way better. The more soil volume you got on every single plant, the better it's gonna do. So I think definitely increasing the depth of all my beds was pretty huge for being able to increase our plant growth, our yield, but also the forgiveness of the garden. Because at the end of the day, the more soil volume, the more water volume we carry. So it allows us from walking out and not seeing our plants just completely crushed dry to the bone.
Absolutely. And again, we're working with living soil here, right? So the idea being that we want to hold as much of that living biology as possible. And if you're in a really short bed, that leaves you that short area for complete desiccation, top to bottom. At no point almost ever will the bottom of these beds contain no moisture whatsoever. So no matter what, we're harboring that good bacteria and that good fungi that we can continue to utilize every year and feed. And you know, the more we use it, the less we're going to really need in the future, which is, again, the whole goal here is to just use less, sustain more, and keep those yields as high as possible.
Definitely just redialing in the drip system again and kind of going to the moon with the setup has allowed this place to explode. Being able to do unlimited feeds. You know, a lot of times we think about a garden of being just a bed with some really good soil and maybe some compost on top, and at most a drip irrigation tube from the hose. But even introducing fertilizers constantly through a hose end sprayer, or also taking it all the way to a fully automated drip system, but adding the food into the water is absolutely essential. I can even tell with a really nice drip system on days that are just water days versus days that are feed days. I fed in here this morning, everything just has that little bit extra perk, that little bit extra vigor, and that little bit extra tolerance to these hot, super sunny days here in Colorado, because this sun is intense. And I'm so glad that we're able to even use things like this mild shade cloth here to be able to just shield our peppers, because here in Colorado, you know, peppers and tomatoes aren't native here. We gotta remember that this is a high plains desert, and the solar index intensity is so high that even peppers, which love full sun, really benefit from shade cloth as well as a proper mulch over the soil, just to kind of have a double cooling effect.
Absolutely. And we're seeing the benefits of that right here. I mean, these pepper plants are couple weeks old that they've been in the ground now, and they went from seedlings to giant fruit-bearing, massively flowering plants. I mean, every one of these guys has just got flowers littered all over the place. It's kind of insane. It's really, really cool to see. And they're at a good size too as well. You know, they're not over-vegging themselves. They're stacking really nicely, which means that they're not under too much shade. If they were under too much shade, they'd be reaching for light. But they're stacking fruit really nicely, which is what we're really hoping to see here.
We went from mulch, which had a couple of disadvantages, like it got a little bit soggy and it hosted a little bit more bugs and also a little bit more mosquitoes, but it had a huge pro of cooling down the ground and remaining a fairly neutral insulator, versus these rocks definitely can spike in valley in temperature a little bit more, but they don't host as many mosquitoes. Since I put them in, there's probably a quarter of the amount of mosquitoes out here. So there's always pros and cons across the entire gamut of everything, even outside of how mulch can affect your ground cover or your raised bed soil cover.
And it's helping us hold some moisture in as well. We've, even though we've been getting a little bit of rain here in Colorado, we can still maintain, not having to water 40 times a day just to keep it wet out here. There's that mulch is kind of holding in some of that moisture and doing a really good job at kind of holding that down. And I've noticed as well, again, a lot of the beneficial like spiders and stuff like that we're kind of looking for to keep some of the nastier bugs away. They're really liking that sort of cushion to sort of lay a nice little web over top of, which is really nice to see as well.
Yeah, you can host that set of biology where it has a benefit up here in the soil by the raised beds, and then you eliminate the other types of non-beneficial bugs down in the ground cover, like the mosquitoes and the stuff like that.
Where they would normally want to go down there, now they're forced to go up here.
Where there's a lot more competitors and there's a lot more other types of bugs, so they don't have as much of an advantage.
Exactly.
Keeping the whole nature ecosystem in check just by introducing the different players with the different games.
Just on days like this, it's about 1:15 right now, and the sun is about as intense as it's going to get right now. And like you're saying, there is some wilting, but they're standing up pretty darn tall, and that just only shows a testament to how strong these plants are for sure.
Yep. So when you guys are thinking about setting up a backyard farm, taking a space that you have in your property that might be a little weird, like this 22-degree fence that I got going on, and just really having fun with it, getting creative, and using the lay of the land that you've got to kind of sculpt the garden into your garden.
Absolutely. I think it looks great out here. Good job, man.
Yeah, thanks, brother. It definitely takes some work to get it set up, but let us do the work for you.
Absolutely.
We've done this with so many different designs and properties, and on commercial horticulture, all the way down to residential backyard farming. So we can help you to decide with the lay of the land that you've got and where your utilities are, as well as where your house or kitchen is, where it would be a good lay of the land to place things like a tomato tunnel, or some pepper beds, or an outdoor shower with veggie processing station, or even your outdoor kitchen. Hit us up if you are curious on how you can increase the memories that you've got at your house, invest into your property for a nice return on the back end, investing back into your memories that you make, and also the work ethics that you can help to instill into your kids by teaching them that they get out what they put in. Because definitely the more that you put into a garden, the more that you get out on the back end. Having kids around during that entire experience and letting them get dirty in the ground and helping to measure the boards and watching you build beds and then plant the plants, trellis them, grow them, pick them and eat them is an absolutely magical experience that I really wish for you guys to share. We've definitely reconnected with family, with property, and with true health, which all starts with good food and good water.